Welcome back, everybody. IRF World Championships, number 18, 2016, Cali, Colombia. We're watching USA versus Ecuador. Rematch of Pan American Championship semifinal. 0 serving 0. Great get from Diaz. Tried to go from behind his back. Again, wasn't able to finish. I've seen a lot of those, fairly unsuccessful. Not sure many coaches would be teaching that. So, Ecuador had a 7-3 lead in game 1. Lead in game 1, lost it 15-7. Well, Ecuador might be lucky on that in that situation. Diaz skipped it, but really he was in the right position to finish that point and just couldn't do so. What's Diaz going to do? He goes for power and is successful. Cracks out on the left side. 1 serving 1. So Diaz is hitting a jam serve, going cross court to Jake, bounces in the middle and comes over to the right. Of course, wow, what hands from Diaz. That's just beautiful. What a point. But yeah, with that jam serve, the problem it creates is that on the right side is that glass, and so it makes it really difficult to see coming across. So it makes it so effective. Shot from Ugalde, good hands. Of course, I said that and immediately went to a different serve. Commentator's curse right there. Great cover by Jake. Diaz was stranded. Jake saw it coming. Crushed it right down the middle. Really, Ecuador have to take their chances. They're getting them, but they're just not taking them. Great get from Galde, but still the setup. Big skip from Jake. Ecuador earned that through the hustle of Ugalde. Great diving get. But they're down 1 serving 3 already. Lob serve down the middle. Jose Diaz says, I don't think so. Shot from Ugalde. That's the kind of shot he needs to make if Ecuador are going to come back and take game 2. Good pass from Fernando Rios. Diaz wants a replay, but I don't think he's ever going to get that from the officials here at the IRF. Should mention the officials. We have about 15 officials here representing the IRF. They're brought in specifically to referee. What makes that great is that there's no responsibilities of players having to referee. Means that they're not tired after a match. It means that the referees care, they're well trained, they receive instruction prior to each tournament, they're tested, And while referees do make a mistake, we've seen great get from Diaz. Wonderful finish from Jake. This wonderful diving get from Diaz. Really anticipated that shot. Good finish from Rios. And out. So we do have referees representing a myriad of countries. I think Asia is the only continent not represented by referees. But we've seen a steady improvement in the quality of refereeing, and as a consequence, the behavior of players. Players can trust the referees a little bit more. I mentioned the line judges, if necessary, but so far today, in this match, it's not been necessary. That's a great shot from Rios. It's a good example of using soft hands instead of having to force the shot, just tapping it or pushing it back to the front, allowing the ball to bounce twice quickly. Sometimes players get a little bit too excited in the heat of the moment, try to force a shot that they otherwise wouldn't normally hit. Change of pace can cause problems to a team, particularly if you can switch back and forth. Good shot from Rios again. A little bit more controlled. Game one, it felt like Ecuador were trying to compete with the U.S. on power. Didn't work. See if they can compete with the U.S. by using a little more control. U.S. aren't happy with it. In fairness, it was very difficult to see from this angle. Great response from Jake. Seven serving four. We've been here before. Great hands from Ugalde. Jake just powers it down the left side. They really seem to be struggling with his power today.
477.
It's a Z serve, broken ball. We've not seen many broken balls today. So we're back at 4 serving 7. Needed a score called. There's an example of a second serve in the IRF. Currently we only have one serve. There are exceptions. The player serves when an opponent isn't ready. If a player hits their partner, that can result in a second serve, which essentially serves as a first serve. Sorry about that, says Rios. I got lucky with that one. It's Coach Sudzi. Wry smile. We'll be discussing whether we go back to 2 serves later this week at the World Congress. Opportunity for delegates for each country to vote on changes. One of those will be rules for sure. Jake goes between the legs. Rios goes down the middle. Pinch. Another pinch. Jake's got a set up. He hits it too high. Great get from Ugalde. Ugalde doesn't like it. It was a diving get, but Gustavo's going to call an avoidable hinder on him up at the front. Diaz continued to play. He wasn't asking for it. It could have gone either way. Of course, that's just my opinion. In fairness, U.S. have had some calls against them. This one may be against Ecuador. It kind of evens out. Gustavo's trying to do his job.
6-7.
Ugalde's not happy with it, but we just move on. Next point. Skip ball from Diaz. A few more skips creeping into the U.S. team's game in this game number 2. Game number 1, they played pretty clean racquetball. Looks like we've got a timeout from Team Ecuador. Get 1 minute. Each team gets 3 timeouts per game, 2 in a tiebreak. That's one of the rules being discussed. Looks like Gary Mazeroff, the director of the tournament, has asked Gustavo to just sweep the floor real quick. Yep, one of the things being discussed at the World Congress in the rules is the possibility of reducing the number of timeouts. We have 3. There's discussion of moving it to 2 and 1. Purpose behind this is simply to speed up the matches. Referees do a good job of keeping everybody moving, keeping the play moving. That's true. But still, we want to make this as entertaining as possible. We don't want continual breaks. We don't want to be here till the early hours of the morning, nor do any of the players. So we're back in. Diaz has a quick word with his coach, Dave Ellis. Switches his gloves. Gary Mazeroff has a hug in front of the camera. Thanks, Gary. Looks like Diaz needs to use Gustavo's shirt to clean his glasses. All right, so here we go. 7 serving 6. Avoidable hinder called.
7-6.
Diaz goes to the ceiling. Ugalde has a chance. Another get. This one's trickier. I got that, said Diaz. I don't think so. 2 bounces. Point.
8-6.
Jake's got a chance here to finish the point, but he skips it. Again, those skips just creeping in a little bit more.
9-6.
Ecuador really are still playing defense, but 2 skips in a row from Jake. 10 serving 6. If I'm the U.S. coach, I'm calling a timeout right now. Down by 4. It doesn't happen. Good good ceiling ball. Another skip. 3 skips in a row. Timeout, says Dave Ellis. Doesn't look like timeout is going to happen, though. Players decide not to stay on the court. Diaz tells Jake probably to calm down. He's visibly frustrated with himself. But he got that one. Crushed it down the line. Helped up Rios. That's good to see. Good sportsmanship. Six serving 11. Off the back wall. Another skip. That's 4 in a row. Well, between one great shot. This time Jake goes cross court. Ugarte goes straight down the line, and it's Diaz's turn to skip it. So in the last 6 rallies, we've seen 5 skips from the U.S. team, and as a consequence, they're down by 5. Perfect serve. Rolled it out on the floor. 12 serving 6. All right, Jake's trying to finish. He can't. It's coming off the back wall. I'm not sure what happened. Looks like we're replaying it.
12, serving 6.
Oh, I may have touched the player. I asked Ecuadorian coach what happened. He said the ball hit him. So replay's called. First timeout is called by the U.S. team, down 13-6. So timeouts, we have 3 of them per game, and why teams or players don't use their timeouts is perhaps a mystery to some. Given the fact that it can be used to stop momentum, to regroup, you would expect that players would use their timeouts more, but oftentimes we only see players using 1 at most 2 timeouts, and yet there's 3 timeouts there with an opportunity to break momentum, to try and get back in a game. Sometimes maybe players feel that the game is too far gone, so why bother? And yet the reality is that we've seen matches that deficits are overcome that are incredible. If you haven't been to our YouTube page, look for International Racquetball on YouTube. A great example of that was in the juniors, the blue singles of all things. Top of my head, 14-year-olds, possibly 12, where a Mexican player, Delgadillo, was down 10-2 in the tiebreak. 10-2. Saved multiple match points, came back to win at 11-10. So they can be useful. In this case, the U.S. won the rally after the timeout. Good example of how it can be used. 13 serving 6 there. This will come up for Diaz for setup. Good finish from Ugarte. Really attacked that ball. That was what was missing in game 1. Excellent pinch winner from Jake. Shakes his head. Probably wondering why can't I do that a little more often in this game too. Tough off that side glass for Jake. Just lost it. Half out. Down by 8. Is he going to try something new? Foot fault called. Side out. No second serve. His foot crossed.
Side out. 14 14 serving 6.
Big skip from Ugarte. He looks back at his coach. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I missed that, he says. Sudzi gives a smile.
14 serving 6.
Here we go. Still game point. Rios wants this one. Excuse me. Diaz. Rios finishes it. Diaz slams the ball into the front court. We're going to a tiebreaker, ladies and gentlemen. Players have 5 minutes in between games 2 and the tiebreaker, so we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.